Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
CV was a game that I reviewed and didn't like very much. It had kind of a, how should I say it, Yahtzee feel to it, where you were trying to build up your characters and tell the story through this Yahtzee mechanic, and it relied a lot on just kind of whatever you rolled was what you were going to get. I didn't really care for it very much, although I really liked the artwork of it, and I guess if I needed a lighter game, this is definitely a game that could meet my needs or someone's needs that light. I just don't have a particular use for a game quite that light. So what has come out is kind of a sequel to it, if you will, called CVlizations, or Civilizations, if you will. They're kind of keeping that CV together. It's going to make it very hard to find over time, because I think when you think of the game, you're going to be thinking, wasn't that game called Civilizations? But it's not. It's CVlizations, so there's no I in the Civ. So what you get here is kind of the same artwork, which is great. It's one of the best parts about CV was the components of the game. And what you're going to get here is the same kind of funny, humorous artwork that has a lot of charm to it with what I feel is a little bit better game. Now, this is going to be a quick game. It's not going to take very long, probably less than 30 minutes if you just kind of keep things moving. I think 20 minutes might do it if you progress with the game. What you're going to get here is a really cool mechanic where everybody has the same cards, and really, not always, but the majority of the time, the bonus is better if somebody else also plays the card. So if you play it alone, you're going to get X. If two people play it, you're going to get Super X, and then 3 is usually less than good than if only one person played it, and sometimes nothing. So as people play their cards, in each round, you're going to play all but 2 of your cards. You're going to have this dynamic where, well, I know they all played their doubler, so I'm going to play my doubler now, but if everybody waits for that doubler to be played and plays in the last round, it doesn't do anybody any good. And you're going to use those cards that you play to get resources, which you will then turn in to get what they call ideas. And these ideas will kind of shape your civilization. Now, this is so pathetically pasted on theme that do not think you're getting a civilization game here. What you're getting is a game with a little bit neat of card play to it, where you're trying to guess and eliminate what other people play to maximize what you're going to get to score victory points, or what they call in this game happiness. Overall, it's a very light game. I could literally teach you in 2 or 3 minutes. I think this game is super quick to teach. Really, just particularly what comes on each card. The only rules you got to know is that depending on how many people play the same card, is how many you activate. Now, the game progressively gets a little bit more difficult as these ideas come out and you get these different powers that you can do. Maybe both your cards can go face down, or you get an extra such and such if you play this card. So those can complicate the game, but you kind of learn those as you go on and you're picking those cards. I don't think it's very complicated at all. Now, it's not we've seen this before, right? So this mechanic isn't anything new or groundbreaking. It's probably, on a little bit more of the boring side if you're looking for something heavy. But if you're looking for just something light, maybe before you play a Civilization game, you want to try something a little bit lighter as a filler while you're waiting for people to show up, this might be it. The game isn't going to knock your socks off. It's a little bit above average to me, but I do like the gameplay of how the more you play, the better benefit you get. But then when you get over that hump, usually if 2 people playing it, it gets progressively worse, and sometimes you get nothing. So you can get really kind of screwed in this game, but you kind of got to figure out what people are going for and what they're going to do, and sometimes you need to zig while they're zagging. But if everybody has an idea, then you get really screwed on it. So it can be a heartless game. It can be a game where you just get kicked over and over again, or it can be a game where things go well. Quite a bit of luck in it, even though you're picking the cards. There's not random luck, but there's more luck in if you guess what somebody else is going to play, then you can get hosed over pretty badly. But there are some times where you're the only one with this card, it's safe to play it, but do you need to play that card? Most of the scores when we played were pretty close. There wasn't any runaway leaders. I don't think there's an opportunity to run away. Most ideas are worth 1-2 points. When you get to the last phase, they're worth maybe 3 or 4. But most people are going to be buying those unless they just get crapped out. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and keep this one a little bit. My wife likes this one. I wasn't a fan of CV, so I would skip CV, go right to CVlizations, and go to this one. So here's the game set up. Now you can have a bag full of these, which are just wooden components. You're going to have these moon-like ones, just a regular cube, and these cylinders. Not crazy about these cylinders because they can roll on the table, but you're going to get massive amount of those. Each player is going to get a set with a back. Each back looks a little bit differently. I'll show you a couple of these, but that really only differentiates the cards. You're never passing these around or anything. So what you're going to get is you're going to get a series of cards. Let me kind of show you what they do. So this one right here is going to give you the white cubes. You gain 2 if you're the only person to play it. You gain 3 if 2 people play it. And 3 plus, you only get 1. On the slacking card, you're going to get 1. And this is happiness. This is your victory points if only 1 person plays it. 2, if 2 people play it. And 3, you get nothing. So there's times you're going to get nothing in here. Here's one that you can change 1 of any resource into 3 of another type. This gives you the cheese-looking one. This is a doubler. And what it allows you to do is double whatever you take. And once 3 people play it, and you get nothing. So what's going to happen is you're going to have these ideas kind of set up out here on the board. And let me just show you 1 or 2 of these. So when you're trying to buy it, you have to give up 1 of each of these resources, 1 block and 2 gray cylinders. You're going to get 1 victory point, but in the order of phase, you can both play cards face up, immediately take 1 resource, which you do not already have. So that can be very good to you. Let's look at the common language. 2 squares and 2 cylinders. During development phase, you can buy 2 ideas instead of 1. That can be really good if you got enough resources. So there's different ideas that you're going to be buying. So let me show you how you play the game. Everybody's going to play 1 card face up and 1 card face down. And you do this in turn order. The turn marker symbolized by this. And when everybody has played their cards, then you flip both over. And let me show you what a couple of these cards look like. So what you'll do is just kind of count off. 1, 2. Oh, I played a 1. How many people played it? And you just do. So if 2 people played it, still 2 different resources, each from a different victim. If 3, nothing. Now the doubler, like I said, just doubles it. And you'll keep going 2, 3, 4. Oh, I got a 4. How many people played a 4? And you get your resources. After that, you're allowed to buy 1 of these ideas with the resources that you were able to get for the round. And then you have new ones. There's 3 rounds to the game. And you will continue, each round lasts until you play all but 2 of your cards. So when everybody has 2 cards within their hand, you know the round is over. You move the round token down. You get rid of everything that's forward, and you move. Now, the first 2 rounds will be played with the 1 set of cards, and then for the last era or round, you'll play with these, which for happiness. This is 1 plus. At the end of the game, you can change up to 3 sets into 2 each. So these are going to be worth a lot more points. There's vegetarianism for tablet. The theme is just pasted on here. So everybody's going to play a card, face up, face down, flip them over, read them off, do what they say, which will just give you 1 of these 3 resources or some combination thereof. And at the end of it, you'll buy 1 of these. When there's 2 cards left, you pick up your card and move to the next era. Very, very simple to play. The rulebook does a fairly good job of explaining the rules. A little bit of an appendix on the back, but for the most part, the game is fairly easy to learn. I do want to point out one thing about this box. This is the box, how it fits in. You have a little bit of stack of cards here. This insert was definitely not made for this box. I can live with that. My wife saw these victory point chips, and she's like, these are the worst things I've ever seen in a game. She's like, if we keep this game, we have to immediately upgrade these. I've never heard her say that before. Obviously, this insert isn't for this game. I'm okay with that, but things don't fit great in here. I think it's just something to point out. So the last word on CVlizations is that it's a pretty good little filler game. There isn't a lot going on. Most of the game is just in the card play, trying to guess what everybody else is going to play. Or if you get further along in a round, because you play all of your cards 2 at a time, 1 face up, 1 face down, until there's only 2 cards left, you can start to eliminate, okay, everybody else has played their doubler, I know I'm free to do that. Or everybody else has played the slacking card, so now I'm free to do that, but I'm only going to get 1 for that, better use a doubler with that. And that kind of thing goes on in your head. It's not a very deep game. It's get the resources and get out, buy what you need, Some of those end-of-game cards can be worth a lot. It's a little bit of a timing issue. If you happen to have the right resources at the right time to buy a card, that's pretty good. There's a tremendous amount of planning that can go into it. It is what it is. You're getting a little light filler game here that plays rather quickly, and it's very easy to teach and learn. The box is way bigger than it needs to be. If that kind of thing bothers you, you will have all the free oxygen you need in this box. Overall, this game's probably a 5.5 to a 6 to me. That's not a knock on the game. There just isn't a whole lot here. But what is here, what happens in this game is pretty fun. It's not going to knock your socks off only because you've seen it before, but it's pretty good. Now, I think most people could probably add this to their collection and have a good time. It's just not something you're going to pull out over and over and over again.